Imagine this. You wake up one morning thinking the worst thing in your life is just not having enough money for rent. And by the time the sun goes down, you've lost your job, your dignity, and you're standing on the edge of a cliff with your little girl's future dangling right there, one bad gust away from falling. Yeah, that happened. Let me back up a sec so you really get where I'm coming from, because this story, it isn't just about bad luck or about one guy getting stomped on by life. It's about how one impossible choice turned into the wildest, most backhanded blessing I could have ever dreamed up. Ethan That's mesingle dad, busted-up boots, world-class warrior, and the guy who'd do absolutely anything to make sure his daughter, Lily, never has to know what it feels like to go to bed hungry. I mean, Lily's 7, bright-eyed, sharp as a tack, always asking those questions that cut right through you. Dad, why do other kids get new backpacks and we don't? Or, will we ever live somewhere with a backyard? You know, the kind of questions that make you want to lie and say, sure, honey, someday, even though you're just hoping you don't get an eviction notice taped to your door tomorrow morning. So there I was, cracking eggs that cost more than they should, trying to make breakfast feel special. That morning, I woke up earlier than usual even, because rent was 2 weeks late, the landlord voicemails were getting nastier, and my boss had made it crystal clear one more screw up, and I was done for. I kissed Lily's forehead and promised, mostly to myself, that today would be perfect. Nothing was going to go wrong, not this time. Of course, that's when everything blew up. You ever notice how life waits for you to get just a little bit of hope before it yanks the rug out? So there I am, sweating buckets on a construction site, shoulders burning, hands cracked and stinging, trying to keep my head down. My boss is the kind of guy who wears a hard hat like a crown and thinks teamwork is just something he yells when he wants you to work through lunch. Suddenly, screech, crash, there's this horrible sound across the street. I look up, and there's a luxury car wrapped around a light pole, smoke curling out from under the hood, and people frozen on the sidewalk like they're watching a movie instead of real life. Next thing I know, my body's moving before my brain can catch up. I drop the hammer, sprint into traffic, and yank open this door. Inside is this woman, impeccable hair, terrified eyes, her leg twisted under the dashboard. Flames licking at the edges, the smell of gas burning my nose, and everyone just standing there, filming on their phones. I dig in, muscle screaming, and somehow, God knows how, I pull her free. The car goes up in a ball of fire behind us, and the whole street is gasping, but I'm just hoping my heart will slow down before it jumps out of my chest. That's when my boss comes barreling over, red-faced, finger in my face. Ethan, what the hell are you thinking? You abandoned your post, left the site wide open. You're fired. I'm trying to explain. Adrenaline's still buzzing, sir. She would have died, but he's not hearing it. You're unreliable. Get your stuff. Don't come back. And just like that, the little bit of security I had gets yanked out from under me. Walking home that evening, the world's so blurry, I barely see the sidewalk. I'm replaying it over and over. Did I do the right thing? Was it worth it? But then I open the door and Lily comes running, arms around my legs, asking why I'm home early. I just pull her close, fake a smile, and tell her daddy's tired today, that's all. I read her a bedtime story with my voice cracking every other page, tuck her in, and then just sit there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, whispering to nobody, what now? Next morning, I'm half asleep, brain fried, when suddenly there's this thunder outside. Roaring engines, shaking the whole building. I yanked the curtain, 3 helicopters, no joke, landing in the empty lot out back. Neighbors crowding outside, everyone buzzing. Lily's in her pajamas, eyes wide. Daddy, are they coming for us? I laugh, but deep down my gut's twisted. That's when there's this knock at the door, heavy, like a cop's knock. I open it, and there she is. The woman from the burning car, not a scratch on her, dressed in a suit so clean it hurts to look at. Behind her are 2 guys in black, holding shiny briefcases. She says, Mr. Ethan Miller, and I'm just standing there in yesterday's jeans, mouth open. She introduces herself, Victoria Hale. Maybe you've heard the Nimesh, the CEO of Hale Enterprises, rich enough to buy the whole block and then some. She tells me straight up, you saved my life yesterday. I came here to say thank you and to repay a debt that can never truly be repaid. I try to brush it off, ma'am. I did what anyone would do, but she shuts that down with a look. No, you risked everything for a stranger. That matters. That means everything. Then she does the wildest thing. Her assistant steps forward with this folder job offer, full benefits, housing, a spot at the best school for Lily, the works. She looks right at me and says, "You'll never have to worry about being punished for doing the right thing again." I swear, my knees almost give out right there. Lily's eyes are shining. She's peeking out behind me, and I can't even speak. I just nod because what else do you say? But here's where the story flips. Just when you think the universe is cutting you a break, it likes to toss in a little curveball. You know what I mean? Turns out, not everyone is thrilled about this rags to riches story. The site manager, yeah, my old boss, she hears about my new gig, sees me getting into a company car, and starts running his mouth around town. That guy, he's a risk. He can't be trusted with real responsibility. Suddenly, I got folks side-eyeing me at the grocery store, acting like I cheated the system. Even the landlord, who used to ignore us, now wants to be best friends. One night, Lily comes home from her new school and tearsome kid's mom told her she didn't belong there, that her dad was a charity case. That one hits me harder than losing my job ever did. So I go in, head held high, introduce myself to the teacher, and say, "We're not going anywhere. My daughter deserves this just as much as anyone." Victoria finds out, and, no joke, she invites our whole building to a dinner party at her house. Talk about a twist. Suddenly, all these people I grew up around are eating caviar under crystal chandeliers, and Lily's giggling with kids who never had to worry about secondhand shoes. But here's what stuck with me most. At that dinner, Victoria pulls me aside, away from the laughter and the cameras, and says, "I wasn't always the woman in the white suit. There was a time I slept on a friend's couch and ate crackers for dinner. You remind me of that. That's why I wanted you here. You didn't let fear stop you from doing what was right." For a second, the whole world just slows down. I realize this isn't just some lucky break. It's a second chance, yeah, but also a responsibility. After that, life didn't magically get easy. There were rumors, there were new challenges, but Lily smiled more. I started sleeping through the night, and I finally felt like I could breathe. The crazy part? Sometimes I still catch myself waiting for the other shoe to drop. But then I look at Lily, her head buried in a library book, feet up on a couch we actually own, and I know, deep down, that moment of courage wasn't just luck or fate. It was a choice, plain and simple. So if you're listening, if you ever find yourself faced with a split-second decision that could cost you everything, let me tell you, sometimes the only thing standing between you and a brand new life is the guts to do what's right, even if the world calls you a fool for it. Now, I gotta ask you, what do you think? Was it justice, karma, dumb luck, or just the way the world should work? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you've ever had a moment where doing the right thing turned your whole life upside down. Who knows? Maybe your story is the next one someone needs to hear.